Good morning, Tottenham fans. Today I want to talk about how Thomas Frank can maximise potential in this Tottenham squad. He can also unlock huge potential in four key players just by using his different tactics that he plays in certain games. He can elevate the potential of these players too. What he's done in his previous club at Brentford, how he's maximised potential in them too, and what signings do we need for all of this to come together? Now, let's start with him at Brentford. He had players that were relatively unknown. The wage structure was second lowest in the league, and they don't splash out cash for top name players. So he has to use data-driven analysis to try and find these players. And Brentford are big on that, and I think Spurs have moved into that criteria too. So it fits all well. So he can do this at Spurs too. So don't be surprised if Thomas Frank brought in some players that you have not heard of before, but they could turn out to be top quality players. So at Brentford, some of the players he brought in were brought in for cheap. Nobody knew who they were, and they were on very low wages. So Ivan Toney, you all know who he is now. He came into Brentford for £5 million, and they sold him for 40. There's so many examples of this that Thomas Frank has done and elevated and maximised potential in these players. Ollie Watkins was brought in for 6.2 million. He was sold for 30. David Raya, that's now playing for Arsenal, was brought in for 3.5 million and sold for 32 million. Umbrella at the moment is still a Brentford player, but he was brought in for 5 million. Can you believe that? £5 million. And he could be gone for 60 or 70 million this season. Neil Maupay was brought in for 1.2 million, sold for 15. Konsa, I think he's the player that went to Aston Villa. He was brought for 1.9 million, sold for 13. Ben Rama, brought in for 2.1 million, sold for 23 million. Sorry. Thomas Frank has maximised potential in all of these players, and he does it by using certain tactics to maximise their potential in a game. So he'll use the strengths of the players and work around them using his tactics. It's really, really clever. If you think Brentford are a pragmatic, sit back and defend kind of team, then think again. Although they were near the bottom for possession, they were fifth highest goal scorers in the league. They scored 65 goals last season in the Premier League, 4 more than the attacking Ange Postecoglou. Brentford had the second lowest wage bill, so that would normally account for finishing in the bottom 3, but they didn't. They finished 9th or 10th, I can't remember exactly where, but in the top half. So that's unheard of for a team that's got a really low wage bill. Frank's maximising the potential of his players, and getting them into a 9th place finish is absolutely exceptional in my opinion. Frank's main objective is to attack, win games. He never plays for the draw. He always plays for the win. He never settles for the draw, even if his team is under the cosh. But he will always keep it tight, a tight unit in midfield and a tight unit in defence, making them very hard to beat, especially at home. The tactics Frank uses will also maximise potential of certain players in our club this season coming. For example, some of the tactics he uses, like he's known for playing 3 at the back, so this might bring a player like Dragushin to life. He has struggled in a high line and was left exposed time and time again by an open midfield and fullbacks that were left stranded up front. His ball playing out the back was always rushed, and this led to him making mistakes. But having 2 centre-backs next to him with fullbacks closer will definitely give him more time on the ball. He's actually very good at spraying the balls out wide and pinging 40-yard passes across field. He's good in the air and actually not that slow. He's a pretty quick player. He just seems a lot slower when he's left exposed in a high line. People think he's older than he is as well. He's still only 23, and Frank, I believe, could develop him into a really strong centre-back. Another tactic Frank uses is the 3-5-2 formation, and this could benefit two players in particular. Matisse Tell is the perfect player to play under Frank in this formation. Solanke would be used to hold the ball up and flick balls on to his fellow striker. Tell could thrive on this as he's very quick, skillful, and has got one hell of a shot on him. Spurs lacked a player that ran in behind last season due to the formations that were being used, and normally last season we'd be playing the ball out wide and crossing it in, but with this new system that Frank uses, it's a lot to do with crosses but also with through balls to the strikers. Frank is also known for playing players in different positions to suit their game more, and I have a feeling that Brennan Johnson could be utilised up front and not on the wings, and he could be up front with Solanke, which would also be lethal in my opinion. His game could massively transform under Frank. We've all heard that Frank tried to sign Brennan Johnson for Brentford, so he would have done his research on him and he would have done the analysis and stats, data-driven analysis to figure out who he wanted, and he was going to buy Brennan Johnson until we stole him. Johnson's game is getting on the end of things, running in behind and scoring goals. That's what he does. Playing out on the wing doesn't suit him, and he still scored 18 goals last season. I just think he has the potential to score even more in a Frank team. He has all the attributes to be a lethal striker, and I think Frank would utilise him brilliantly. Another formation he has used is the 4-4-2, but in this system he's played 4 central midfielders, 4 at the top, 4 at the back and 2 up top. This is to nullify opposition in the middle and out wide. He normally uses it against teams like City, and it really works. This could maximise Archie Gray. He's another player that Frank wanted at Brentford, so he would have done the data analysis on him too. And Gray was last season played out of position. All last season, most of last season. But when he did come into the midfield last season, he was playing with a second string team. A lacklustre performance from the whole 11 really impacted his performances. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt that those poor performances were not because he was playing in midfield, it's because the whole team were playing poorly. And we lost a lot of games towards the end of the season. He's a young lad, so I'm not going to judge him so quickly. And it was his first season for Spurs. With 3 others in midfield, with him would give him more of a chance to get on the ball, use his passing ability to open up defences and play through balls to Tell and Johnson. He will also be left less exposed defensively and could really improve in all aspects of his game. He's strong in the tackle and very good in tight spaces, so he can really be press resistant too at times. So with game time and more experience, he could really come on leaps and bounds this season. He would have learnt a lot from last season too. We actually have a very talented squad with Frank maximising potential in young players and having more luck with injuries. If we had more luck with injuries, then I would be quite excited next season. If we could add a couple of quality additions to maximise the squad potential, especially for Champions League football, I still think we need 3 or 4 probably top quality players to add to this squad, especially if players like Sonny, Richarlison, Werner's gone out the door already, maybe Basuma, believe in Ben Davis. So if we can get 3 to 4 quality players in, we could try and compete on all 4 fronts. That was the objective and aim said by the board. Whether we do it or not is a different story. But yeah, I think Thomas Frank could really maximise this squad, the squad that we've already got. You know, the younger players have got a season of experience now. He's really coming into a good foundation left by Ange Postecoglou. He's really built something that's got huge potential, and if he does maximise it, like I keep saying in this video, and add 4 quality players, and let's imagine if we signed an Mbeumo on the wing, moved Johnson up front, you know, had Decky and Maddison in the number 10 roles, and we had, you know, Bentancur, Bergvall, Sarr doing all the hard work in the middle, all as a strong unit. It really could work. It really could. And the players that we don't really rate highly at the moment could become really good players too. And for me, that would build our squad into a very tight-knit, strong squad. And you never know. A trophy could be on its way next season too. And a higher finish in the league. I think I'd be happy with a 6th place finish. But let me know in the comments what you think of this video, what you think Thomas Frank will bring to Spurs. Thank you for watching, and come on you Spurs.